So Body Blue backs Nigel Farage. Yep, you heard that right. Whilst being detained in Bali, Blue wrote a piece for The Spectator supporting the Reform Party leader. Now, the piece isn't entirely political, only 2 paragraphs, but this is what made the headlines. I am not knowledgeable about politics, but I do know the UK is very messed up. The tax system is terrible, and it's smart to leave if you have money. There are too many people here. We are too accommodating, and it is causing problems. I worked for the NHS, and most people have no idea where the money goes. I like targets, although when I did the thousands, I asked my team not to tell me the numbers, so I didn't obsess over them. You shouldn't have to pay any inheritance tax, as you've already been taxed on that money. When my granddad died, it was particularly sad because he was too young for my grandma to receive his pension. That's disgusting. Reform has sensible positions on immigration and inheritance tax, so I stand with Nigel Farage. So the 2 biggest reasons are immigration and taxes, which is the sort of views from someone who's in a privileged position. Nothing about wages or the state of public services. Now, given that Bonnie Blue earns between £600,000 and £1.5 million a month, of course, she isn't concerned about wages or inequality. So immigration, well, I mean, I don't think there's much to say on that one, really. That's just her view, I guess. But is it a bit ironic that she's currently being detained in a foreign country? I mean, Reform are supposedly nationalist. Now, of course, no, they have their own flavour of globalism, which is supporting America and Israel, but they pretend they're nationalists. So I hope she doesn't try and appeal to the British government for help, since that will be internationalists. I mean, what do right-wingers say? Respect the laws of the country you're in. I mean, she clearly didn't. Now, by the way, I don't think it's right that she's facing punishment for consensual sex, but of course, that's not the point of this video. Now, what's interesting is what she says on inheritance tax, and the idea that inheritance tax should be abolished is wild. There's this idea that the money is being taxed twice. I don't see it that way. Not having inheritance tax means you essentially get free money. Now, if money is passed down to you, it's your parents or grandparents who worked hard for that money. You didn't. You're literally getting free money. Now, given that inheritance tax only affects 4% of the country, it's not an inheritance tax on everyone. It's about trying to make society a bit more equal, where rich kids have to pay a bit of tax on money they didn't work for. Now, look, I get it if it started from zero and your parents or grandparents had very little and you were left with virtually nothing, and then the government taxed it. I mean, that would seem harsh, which is ironic because I think that's the way most people see it, right? Inheritance tax is very unpopular, but I'm not sure if people realise that it's only for the very, very rich. Now, another thing which is very ironic is that those who are very outspoken against inheritance tax also call themselves capitalist. Now, being against inheritance tax is, in a way, quite anti-capitalist. I mean, the point of capitalism was to move away from feudalism, and instead of certain people having wealth and power by birthright, the idea was for free markets to reward everyone who worked hard. I mean, aren't we supposed to be living in a meritocracy and everyone starts from an even playing field? Of course, capitalism is just another form of feudalism, and capitalists hate free markets. Capitalists hate capitalism. Now, she says that it's smart to leave because of taxes. I mean, is it smart? I mean, leaving your friends and your family, trying to uproot all your businesses and moving elsewhere because of tax reasons? Again, is that really smart? And whether you think it is or isn't, it's immaterial because it doesn't happen. Now, this is the thing with those who are not into politics. Okay, look, that's fine. And I hate when snobby liberals look down on people, call people stupid. They say, oh, you vote Reform, you're stupid. I absolutely hate that. But what I cannot stand is those who admit they don't know a great deal. And Bonnie Blue literally said, I don't know much about politics, right? And push clearly spoon-fed lines, especially when you have a big platform. You know, it's not like Bonnie Blue did research and study and then came to the conclusion that, oh, rich people leave because of taxes. It wouldn't be possible because research shows the opposite. It doesn't happen. But if you came to a conclusion based on your own research, that's fine. But that's not what she's done. She's just heard politicians and media pundits say, oh, rich people leave because of taxes. And she's just repeating that line. That's what I hate. I really don't understand her line about the NHS. She used to work for the NHS, and she said most people who work for the NHS don't know where the money goes. Therefore, she supports reform who want less or no inheritance tax and less migrants. I mean, how does that correlate? That makes no sense. Now, if Bonnie Blue did some research, she'd know that the NHS has been privatised and a lot of the money is going to private contractors and the money is being sucked out of frontline services. Yet she supports the most pro-privatisation political party. Bonnie Blue back in Nigel Farage, right? It all comes down to class. She's rich and she wants lower taxes. It's quite simple, really. Reform poses no threat to capital. Bonnie Blue is insanely rich. It's not that complicated. Who cares if reform defunds the NHS or wants to abolish free healthcare, which, by the way, Nigel Farage has openly called for an insurance-based system multiple times. That's not an issue for Bonnie Blue. She can go private. She can pay for it. The rest of us within the working class needs the NHS. She's a neoliberal, or rather, she found her success in neoliberalism, and she supports a party of neoliberalism. It's not shocking. Now, her wealth has come from an extremely individualistic and commercial endeavour. I mean, despite the fact that she's a sex worker, she isn't in the same world as most sex workers. Majority of people on OnlyFans get very little or a moderate wage. But just like the economy more widely, OnlyFans is a microcosm of it. Extreme income inequality. The CEO of OnlyFans and a select few within the 1% of earners are rich. And another irony, many people within Reform, I think at least Richard Tice, has said that they don't support OnlyFans. There are people within Reform who don't support the idea of sex work, yet Bonnie Blue got insanely rich from being a sex worker, is backing that party. Now, why would she do that? Well, she's rich enough now to leave that behind her if she wants to. So if Reform got in and made it harder to be a sex worker, that is literally no skin off her back. Because she's got so much money, she'd invest in fucking property or something. She probably already does. Now, by the way, I am not anti-sex worker. All work is work. But Bonnie Blue's content takes it to another level. I mean, I think she might be the first person to sleep with over 1,000 men in a day, which is the extreme commodification of bodies and the human connection. Now, again, that's not confined to sex work. All of us, whether it's our mind or bodies via labour, is used in the process to produce commodities. But the extreme types of content she engages in, churning through literal people in a very short space of time for money, I would consider that very neoliberal. So why would she back any other political party? I mean, she wouldn't back the Greens. She would need to be a class traitor and support the working class. But Bonnie Blue is just simply a very rich person supporting a political party that stands up for the rich.